Is Biden actually good for the country? News this week that 320,000 illegal migrants have been imported into the country and sent out on planes in the dead of the night to all of these different cities all over the country. Cities weren't even notified that these people were coming in. 320,000 of them. I mean, think about that, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't even know how that's legal. I mean, if they're using taxpayer dollars, they have this new app, you see, where you can apply for amnesty overseas, and then you come here and they say, great, they put you on a plane and off you go to Timbuktu. And maybe you show up for your trial a year, 2, 3 years, 4 years later, maybe you don't. And maybe nobody even cares. I mean, I don't know what this is about, but Elon Musk is pretty darn angry. Elon Musk is out tweeting up a firestorm, and he's actually called it several different things. In one case, he actually even referred to it as treason because he's very concerned about who is actually there. He did say that somebody ought to go and download that CBP1 app, that's what it's called, and go through it. Look at it step by step by step. Figure out, how do you apply for amnesty here and what happens? Because that's a lot of planes, he said, and a whole lot of airports and a whole lot of people, 320,000. And we don't really know who they are or where they are right now. So he went on to say, hey, you know what? This could be treason. This is an act of treason for it. Now, whether that is, the politics of it are what they are. And I realize the rhetoric is really heated, but I understand why he feels this way. I feel this way. I talked to a wonderful, brilliant, conservative investor just last night, and we were talking about this, and he's like, I want to sue him. I want to sue the federal government because those are my taxpayer dollars that they are using, and this is a program that was not approved by everyone. And then they didn't even bother to tell the cities themselves that these individuals were coming in. It seems, frankly, really wrong on multiple levels. And so if they're sneaking around and doing things like this, is it because this was Joe's plan all along? Can we go back to that sound from the debate? The one where he told us that the migrants had surged the border and he would welcome that? Wow.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Well, that's what happened. Joe, you got what you wanted. And now Americans are in a really tricky spot. Such a tricky spot that you look at the city of New York, for example. I mean, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, she's like, wait a second, because remember those people that beat up the New York City police officers? A bunch of them got off scot-free. I mean, they were able to walk without bail. And she's like, this isn't right. I mean, when you have Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, saying, we can't be a sanctuary city anymore because this stuff isn't right. Well, you got yourself a little bit of a problem. Here's Kathy Hochul. She's actually saying now that they're going to put a bunch of police officers on the subway stations, which they should, by the way, and they should have done long ago. Of course, I don't know how many police officers because nobody wants to be a police officer anymore. Who would want that gig after Black Lives Matter? In the summer of 2020. Anyway, the governor of New York saying they got to do something.
Point one, I'm redeploying nearly 1,000 members of the New York State Police, MTA Police, and MTA National Guard to conduct bag checks in the city's busiest transits. They'll start seeing them at the tables, making sure that weapons are not being brought in, working in concert with our New York State Police, as well as our NYPD. Because no one heading to their job or to visit family or to go to a doctor appointment should worry that the person sitting next to them possesses a deadly weapon.
Well, when you're bringing in gang members and you're not vetting everybody, you might have a few problems along the way. A lot of problems. Look, it's a problem for small business owners. It's something that I know is keeping the folks up at Job Creators Network up overnight because they're like, wait a second, we got to fix this. I mean, you think about all the small business owners that get affected by this, by the theft. I mean, this is a big deal right now, what's going on all across the country. The theft, for goodness sakes. You go into any drugstore anywhere right now. I mean, I was in Ulta, which is like a makeup store out in the suburbs. And you can't even try the perfumes or any of the makeup like you used to be able to do. I mean, that was kind of their big thing, right? Like you could like see things and look at them. Everything's locked up. Everything is locked up. And then in New York City, everything is locked up. And so they're locking it up because they have a crime problem. Small business owners, what do? I mean, think about what they've got to take on right now. And you think about the shoplifting that's happening. You think about the threats to their employees, to themselves, and they've got a bad situation.